Hello, freak bitches.
That whole system, you've never been divorced, right? I have. You know, as soon as you enter it, you see right away that the whole thing is stacked against us. And this is, it's just, you look into it if you don't believe me.
I believe you.
You have to basically.
I know many friends that
and
have
I
been
went
divorced.
through the mildest divorce. I mean, my ex-wife was as easy on me as you could be. But nonetheless, I ended up paying a lot more child support than she really deserved. And but not a lot. I mean, but it's a lot of men. Oh, in fact, you do have a friend this happened to, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go into these courtrooms, and it's basically down to a judge.
I have a friend who has to pay alimony for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
He was married for 12 years. He's been divorced for 14. He still has to pay his ex-wife. He's married to a new woman. He has a new family. He didn't even have kids with this woman. He has to pay her forever.
Yeah,
forever.
Imagine if
till she dies.
Imagine if they had kids.
He fucked her so hard she can't work anymore. Forever. How about that? That's a crazy law.
There's a lot to say about that, but yeah,
that's a crazy law.
When there's kids involved,
right?
Forget about it.
But that's a very sexist law, by the way, because that law is implying that this woman is incapable of making it on her own.
Thank you. By definition, it's anti-feminist.
Yeah. Yes,
it's anti-feminist and it's sexist and it's patriarchal.
Right.
It is totally patriarchal.
Women who support it, they're supporting it because they don't like men. I mean, that literally is what it is.
Who knows? I don't know.
Well, listen, if you're supporting a woman never having to work again because she married a guy for a certain amount of time, like relationships come and go. People get tired of each other. People have the right to change. You shouldn't be financially obligated to take care of someone for the rest of their life just because you were married at one point in time. That's crazy.
I completely agree with you.
Especially in today's day and age where my friend is 54, I think he is now. He could live to be 100. Mm-hmm. So what the fuck? He's got to pay for her for another 46 years? That's insanity.
It's phenomenal. Yeah, but again, I agree with you completely. But what you said just then about it being sexist,
it is.
That's
right?
a radical concept that hasn't even, I think, registered with most people. And if many people heard it, they would think you are a sexist yourself for saying it. But you know what? It is inescapable that's what's going on.
Sexism against men is very common.
It's sexism against women, too.
Yeah.
That's what we're also saying.
Right.
And that's the radical part of this, right?
Right?
It's actually patriarchal in the most fundamental sense, which is that the court is saying that the man should be the provider.
I'm going to tell you a story. There's a woman in Florida who is this is a bit in my act that I'm doing now. It's a true story. There's a woman in Florida who was a cop. She was 25 years old. She pretended to be a high school student. And she's an attractive woman, made friends with this boy. He thought it was his girlfriend. And she talked him into selling her pot, and then she arrested him. That only works when you have a 17-year-old boy and a 25-year-old woman. Mm-hmm. If you had a 25-year-old man throwing dick at your 17-year-old daughter and then he gets her to sell him pot and then he arrests her, there would be people lining the fucking street with torches to kill that guy. But people are sexist against boys. They feel that boy should just keep it in his pants. That boy should know better. And you know as well as I know, when you're 17 years old, you are a baffled bag of hormones with a boner, just running through the world, trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. And you're 12 months away from being an adult. It's chaos. It's craziness. And to think that this young boy should be able to think clearly in that moment while this 25-year-old woman is manipulating him is insane.
Yeah.
But they allowed it, and this kid has a felony on his fucking record right now.
Yep. This is the root of the issue with feminism that is current feminism. Its current incarnation. I am a feminist, by the way.
How dare you?
We can define that.
Leave now, sir.
But
how about just being egalitarian? Can you do that without?
Well, yeah. So,
son of a bitch.
Well, that's okay. I'm not that either. I'm not an egalitarian, but
you're not?
No.
How
Hold
come?
on, too many topics
I'm
at once.
sorry. Go ahead.
Jesus Christ.
We go off a lot of branches here.
I know. I love it. Where was I going? Oh, this.
Feminist.
So what you did was you identified, and I think actually I talked about this the first time I was here, which is that this is what's to me at the heart of, this is the appalling irony at the heart of contemporary feminism as practiced by self-defined feminists. Okay, many, not all. Guys, I'm not saying all feminists are like this, but I'd say certainly it's the dominant strain right now, which is that it is at its heart patriarchal, which it treats women as vulnerable, weak, powerless, incapable of making their own way in this world. And it treats men as forget about the men. Forget about how they treat men. It's how they treat women that's sexist. It says that they need protection from the state, which is run by usually men, but it's also this other institution. Or, college presidents need to protect these women from 19-year-old boys who want to have sex with them. Same thing.
Yeah.
They're constantly calling for women to be protected by these institutions, the state, by men. It is patriarchal and sexist, right at the heart of it. And same thing with family court and divorce law and all that stuff. That's how they get treated. They get treated like they're the ones who need to be taken care of by a man. It's like 1950s sexism. It's like Mad Men sexism. That's what most feminists are calling for now.
Well, I disagree when you're talking about child rearing, because I think that child support should be absolutely mandatory, and it's very important. And if a woman is the only one raising the kids on her own, not only does she need the money for food and housing, but also probably for someone to babysit her kids. There's a lot of factors involved.
I totally agree.
And if the man's not in the scene, he owes money for sure. He has a responsibility. Mm-hmm. And as a father, at the very least, that's what you should be doing, is contributing financially.
I totally agree. I'm not opposed to paying child support.
My problem is alimony. Alimony's weird.
Yeah, that makes no sense at all.
It's weird. Well, I don't think it's a bad thing if someone, say, how about this? Say, let's turn it around. Say you had a wife who was wealthy, and she was taking care of you while you were going through school, and she promised that she was going to fund you all the way through your PhD program. She was going to give you money so you didn't have to worry about anything but your education. And then once you got out, then you guys could share income. But somewhere along the way, she decided she was done with you, and then you're fucked, but you're in the middle of this program that you have to pay for. I don't think it's unreasonable to say that she should give you until you could figure your own system out. So you don't have to quit your PhD program and go get a job somewhere and get an apartment and a car. I don't think that's unreasonable. Mm-hmm. What's unreasonable is saying that because you guys were together for a certain amount of time, she has to pay you for the rest of your life.
Sure.
That's insanity.
Sure.
And that's current.
I agree.
That's real.
I agree.
That's sexist.
But should that be legal, though? Should that be legally enforced? Should courts be deciding how long the alimony is paid?
No.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
Well, that's the situation.
Yeah. I don't know. How has that happened? What's the motivation behind that for the courts to succumb or to give in to
I just explained it to you. It's sexism. It's patriarchy. And the feminists are playing along with it. That's it. It's this idea that women can't make
courts, though. I mean, isn't the courts aren't there a lot of men involved in those courts? I mean, why are they allowing all this to happen?
Yeah, and most of them think basically like feminists, or at least they are expected to behave and make decisions like feminists. Feminism has become dominant in that way in our culture.
This has been going on for decades.
Yeah, exactly.
These laws have existed long before feminism was prevalent in our culture.
That's my point. It went from sexist patriarchy, those laws.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So feminism is basically continuing that stuff in its name.
Piggyback on
in
it
its
and just
name.
Switching up the definitions.
Let me say really loud and clear, there have always been feminists who hate this stuff as much as you and I do.
Camille Paglia type feminists.
Many of them, okay? And they have been loud and clear about this for a long, long time, and I love them, and they're my heroes, and I've learned from them. I've learned these things from them, okay? But the ones who really are, powerful and dominant in the media, the ones we hear from, the public intellectuals, the academics, government leaders, the people who end up in the White House, Obama's staff in HHS, Health and Human Services, and the Department of Education became very clear to me that all these sexual assault laws and rules that came out of there, they were coming right out of colleges, and they were really of that. They were of the sort of college feminist movement. They were the ones who set that letter in 2011 that made it basically mandatory for colleges to set up these kangaroo courts for sexual assault cases. All the nonsense you and I talked about here a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Anybody interested, review those earlier podcasts about your college, about Occidental.
There's many colleges.
Yeah, but
and, there's a whole backlash now, right? It's all turning back, and I knew it was going to happen.
Right.
Now they're completely being decimated. There's hundreds or maybe even thousands of men who are suing in court, and many of them are winning right now for good reason, because there was no due process.
Right.
Because they weren't allowed to, ask questions.
Well, that poor boy, the mattress boy, where that girl put a fucking mattress on her back and dragged it around campus, and then took her graduation speech with a mattress. They went on stage with a mattress. I mean, the whole thing was so fucking crazy.
Oh, yeah. There's this fantastic sex worker activist named Christine Pereira, who's in Vegas. She tweeted something like, when that happened, she said, fuck you, mattress girl. For those of us who have really been raped, you're a fucking disgrace.
Ooh.
She went off. It was something like that. Yeah, and it was.
Yeah,
but
that girl seems pretty crazy, that mattress girl.
Yeah, that was an extreme example.
But that boy is suing that school. Luckily.
Yeah, they're all suing,
yeah.
and many of them are winning. And I don't know what happened in those cases. I don't even know what happened to Mattress Girl for sure.
For sure.
I know that there's all kinds of evidence that sure looks like it didn't happen the way she said it did, but I don't know for sure, and I never will. We will never know.
You can't know.
But what we do know for absolute sure is that there's been terrible or no due process in those cases, right? And so that's the problem. I mean, that basically the accuser gets to win every time. Imagine if that was our legal system writ large, right?
Right.
Joe, you stole $1 million from me yesterday. All right, put him in jail.
Right.
That's basically what's happened.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it got so crazy that even Rolling Stone printed a false rape case, that gang rape case, the UVA case.
It's astonishing.
Which is just, how did a company that's been in the journalism business as long as they've been, how did they fuck that up?
Yeah,
like
that was the turning point, I think, when that came out, that it was completely made up. I think since then, it started to turn. So,
do you think that's good, that things like that happen, so that you realize why it's important to have checks and balances, and that it reaffirms this idea of real journalism is important, to have your facts in order, to have checks and double check things, and make sure you know what the fuck you're printing?
I think it's good for society. I think it's terrible for John Doe. All the John Does out there, all those men who were accused and expelled and had their names ruined and their careers ruined, college careers destroyed and all that stuff, right? I think, but yes, your point.
And also, even if you're exonerated, the emotional turmoil that you go through, there's no way they can reward you for that, or compensate you for that, rather.
So that is part of that whole thing, as I said before, is part of this sort of ironic feminist patriarchy ideology, right? Which is, we need protection. We can't say no to men. We can't stop them by saying no. We need, we need help just there. We need the college president to save us, or the cops, or someone. It's incredible.
Well, then there's this thing where two people are drinking, and if the two people are drinking, the girl is getting raped.
There you go. Same
Whereas
thing.
the guy's not getting raped.
Because women are incapable of controlling themselves when they're drunk. It's sexist as hell.
Exactly, because the man's drunk too, but it doesn't, somehow or another, it doesn't matter. Even if they're both like sending texts back and forth, do you have condoms, like the Occidental case.
It's patriarchal.
Yeah,
women are children. They're daughters who need to be taken care of by dad.
And the sons are men.
Yeah.
Even though they're just the same age and they're boys as well.
Yeah, they have full agency. Yeah. And the women are daughters.
Yeah, it is sexist. Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah.